This conference will now be recorded.
Hello. Sir, we can't hear this.
You can't hear me. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Looks like this
Yeah,
symbol was confusing me. That's fine. Okay, let me start again.
yeah, please. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. We'll start again. No issues. I was speaking about this, the basics. So we'll be starting with the basics of this cloud computing. And this foundation is applicable for all the cloud platforms, not only for Azure. You can consider AWS, GCP, HP Cloud, IBM Cloud, all the cloud platforms. Okay, we'll start with very, very basics of cloud computing and then we'll move on to the concepts. And all we are discussing here is about Microsoft Azure administration, and it is mainly with regards to infrastructure. Okay, so out of this, I have already shared this content with all of you, and you can see that overview of management portal, various services in Azure, and we have to familiarize with terms in Azure. Okay, if you consider Azure, there are terms which you have to understand, and the similar terms will be applicable for AWS and GCP as well. Okay, if you consider multi-cloud platforms, yes, these
Oh,
codes will
Hari,
be used.
sorry to interrupt you. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, go on.
Yeah, Hari, actually, I am unable to get your voice. So it's completely very low. Can you please?
Who's this? Prem?
At least
I don't
I
think
am
so.
unable to hear you.
I don't think so. It is a problem from my side, but oh, can others confirm, please, whether you are able to hear it clearly or not?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Oh, it's not clear.
Yeah,
looks
we
like
can hear you.
Prem, check your network or anything from your like maybe the volume settings from your system, please.
Yes, Hari. Right now I am able to hear you. Please carry on.
Okay,
Thank you.
right. So we'll be focusing on administration part, and we'll start with very, very basics, and then we'll move on. So here are the concepts which we are going to cover. From networking side, we'll be discussing about this cloud services, backup, security, and security is the key for each and every environment nowadays. You might be seeing cyber security attacks and things like that. So uh, we are going to discuss about that security as well, and some application configurations, migrations, and which is key nowadays for each and every enterprise. Okay, so all of these are covered under AZ 104, which is uh, a concept for Microsoft Azure Administration. And under this, let's say if you are planning for any certification going forward, this will be the one which you will be writing once you're done with our course content. But it is up to you whether the certification is needed for getting the job or not. So we'll see that later. We'll discuss as we move on. So under this AZ104, Microsoft has divided topics like this: Azure identities, implementation and managing of storage 15 to 20%, deploying and manage Azure compute resources. We also have a virtual networking, backup, monitoring as well. Okay, so once we are done with these concepts, I'm also covering this advanced, which is like designing Azure Infra solutions, which is also needed for your uh, projects. Okay, designing identity governance and mainly on the monitoring solutions, data storage solutions, business continuity, which is like a DR setups and all. We'll be discussing all this. I hope everyone is from technical background and where you'll be able to understand these concepts clearly. And we will also work on this designing infrastructure solutions. Okay, so I'll be discussing each and every concept in deep, each and every option wherever is applicable, so that I need a commitment from your side as well, so that it means you need to practice every day once we're done with our session, before our next session. If there is any tasks, and in between, I'll be giving some tasks as well. Let's say if you don't know where to start, what to start, for the initial few days, I'll be giving some tasks for you, and where you can work on your labs and come back to me if there are any questions. Okay. And coming back to the notes, yes, I'll be giving some basic notes, but however, I do prefer you guys to write your own notes, because I can give the documentation, and that documentation will be hundreds of pages, which will take ages to read and understand. Okay, so we'll be focusing mainly on the real-time environment, what we are going to work. Instead of going theoretically, we'll understand the concepts and where it will be easy for you to work on your engagements going forward. Okay, once you switch into Azure, right? So that will be the process that we are going to do as part of our uh, sessions. Now, yeah, uh, I'll pause for a few minutes. If there are any questions, we'll discuss. If not, I'll continue with the opportunities in the market, and then you can ask questions if there are any. Okay. So let's discuss about the opportunities that are there in the market. So as you know, the cloud technology is evolving, and each and every enterprise, be it be a small scale enterprise or medium scale or large scale, each and every organization is migrating or is moving to the next level of technologies like cloud technologies, and we also have got artificial intelligence, machine learning, okay, IoT based stuff. So in order to achieve all this, they need to have a robust data centers. And if you consider our normal applications, whatever that we use, each and every application is hosted on a server, and those servers are hosted in a data center, right? So to meet the business standards and to meet the compliance requirements, because each and every country has got a different compliance uh, policies. Let's say for European countries, it is GDPR, and for Indian companies, there is something called like data security and things like that. So each and every government is managing certain policies to hold and secure the data for the organizations in their country. That is for security and also for the sake of country's benefit. So in order to achieve all this, we need to have a large scale data centers to host applications and to maintain it for each and every organization. It is needed. Now let's consider uh, you're from some XYZ company and you're planning to build your infrastructure, and you have got number of clients in pipeline where they are planning to sign with your organization for all the projects. Now, you don't have a data center to accommodate the servers, storage, application configurations, and all this stuff for that XYZ company. If you consider that you need to set up a bigger data center, it means if you want to set up, you need to spend a huge capital, right? You know the server cost for let's say the even for the basic server, it will be costing around 10 lakhs rupees if you consider not on the devices like laptops or things like that. Consider a enterprise grade server. It will be costing beyond 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, one server. So it will be difficult for each and every organization to accommodate such large scale data centers. So that is where cloud has evolved. So it means you'll be working on this cloud platform through the internet, and all of your services can be managed through the internet, and you're not going to manage anything from the data center end, but you will be utilizing all the services that are there under that cloud data centers. Okay, so keeping that aside, that is something next level. Now coming back to the opportunities. So if you consider Azure or AWS or GCP, each and every area there is a scope for at least next 5 to 10 years, I would say, because all of this has been still in developing stage where most of the customers are moving to the cloud platforms. So why they are moving to the cloud? To reduce their expenditure in their data center management and to reduce the workforce. To manage the data center on premises, it costs more. So that is where there is a concept like uh, we have got cloud characteristics like on-demand self-service, broad network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, measured service. So I will discuss each and every concept, but just giving a heads up. So let me, that's fine. Right. These are the 5 characteristics that are applicable for each and every cloud data center. We'll discuss each and everything later. Now, again, coming back to, I mean, I'm moving to other concepts as well while discussing about the opportunities in the market. Now, just to reiterate, the first 1 or 2 sessions will be a theoretical and you might get bored. So I'll not be continuing for 1 hour. So I'll stop like in between 45 minutes to 1 hour because it is theory. And next level, we will have all our concepts live. Now, so in the market, when it comes to companies, there are different types of roles available. Let's say support role, okay, support engineer role, and you will also have the opportunity to work as a consultant or cloud engineer or cloud solution architect, okay, or cloud admin. So considering the title, there will be a difference in your responsibilities as well when you join into any organization where you get hired. So cloud admin or let's say Azure admin, these are generic roles that I'm taking here just for reference. You can call it as Azure admin, whatever it is. Now, if you get into your role based on your interest, if you have given interview and selected for the specific role, support engineer role is where you will be supporting the issues if there are any that are there in Azure platform. It means for each and every customer there will be a different set of applications, servers, databases in the cloud platform, and it will have a kind of like various issues going forward when they are working, as you know, in the day-to-day activities. So you will be supporting for those issues for already existing services. Then this support role is a fit for it. It depends on your interest. As we move forward, we'll be discussing, and sometimes if we consider support, it is not for all Azure services. So in Azure, we have got hundreds of services available, but we are not going to discuss all hundreds of services in our sessions. It is difficult for any individual to learn all services. Okay, we'll be focusing mainly on administration part with regards to infrastructure. Right now, before I move on, just to give a glance, I'll be going through Azure portal and then I'll come back to this role discussions. So in order to log into Azure, you have to have your login credentials, which I'll be sharing with you guys uh, in couple of sessions. So I have already logged into this Azure portal, and portal.azure.com is the URL which we are going to use. Okay? This portal.azure.com you can use on your mobiles and as well as in your laptops, but to practice I would recommend to use laptop, because in mobile you cannot control all the services clearly, right? So login details will be shared for few days, and then you have to create your own account that we'll be discussing later how to create. So this is the home page which I've already been using this subscription, and for each and every customer there will be a subscription. Out of that subscription, depends on the number of users, they will be creating accounts, and that will be shared to admins and the users whoever needs. Now let's see all services, what kind of services that are available in Azure. So in general category, you can see that service health, some reservations, cost management, subscriptions, and things like that. So don't worry, we'll be discussing in deep wherever is applicable as per our content going forward, and we'll be getting extra as well. But now it is just a overview for you to see the console and the list of services available in Azure. If you consider compute, we have got virtual machines, app services, container. You might be hearing the latest technologies like Azure Kubernetes, right? Or Kubernetes services. So you can use Kubernetes as well in this Azure platform. Okay. And we have got availability sets. Even you have got an option to work on Citrix Virtual Desktop, SAP, Cloud Simple Nodes, host groups, and there are around 28 services under compute. And networking, we have got again 34 services, and I'm calling it as a service. Each and every concept here is a service. Okay, under networking, we have got 34. Remember, it is difficult to any individual to know each and every service in Azure. At least if you know the concepts, if there are services available, then you can work on and you can learn, and you will be specialized into only specific category, not all the services that you will be learning. So don't worry about it, but you should know all the services. It means you should have overview about the services so that it will be easy for you to uh, recommend to any of your customers or anything like that. So under storage, we have got 16 services. We have got backup services, data box, storage accounts, various things are there. We'll be discussing these concepts as well. And web apps, we have got web apps as well, like app services, notification hubs, cognitive search, so whatnot. Each and every concept that are there in the market. As I mentioned, Kubernetes, it is there. If you're interested in mobile application development, yes, you can publish your mobile app through this Azure console. Okay, so there are various services as we discussed. And for databases, you can use Azure SQL, SQL, and then Data Factory, Elastic Job. So we'll be discussing Azure SQL as well to make you understand on data side as well. Right. So analytics, and this is where uh, you might be hearing that most of your friends or colleagues might have joined recently to these emerging technologies like Power BI, Azure Synapse, Data Factory, Databricks. Okay, it means friends that whom like that they are specialized only onto this specific service, not on all the services that we are going to discuss as part of our content. Right, so we'll be discussing all the services, but this analytics is something different, and we will give a kind of overview on these concepts as well. Okay, and then we have got artificial intelligence and machine learning services. We have got around 26 services under this category, artificial intelligence and machine learning. So under this we have got cognitive services, applied artificial intelligence, APIs, custom vision. So for this, if you want to work on this, you should be from a developer background as well. Development background. It means where you should know the code, and you will be exclusively working on this artificial intelligence and machine learning. However, as we are into administration, we will not be going deep into these concepts, but from the administration point of view, you'll be able to understand it clearly. Okay, and you can see that there are bot services, face APIs, speech services, language detections. All of this can be managed by using this Azure platform. And Internet of Things. So you might be hearing nowadays like virtual reality or Meta. The Facebook has got his name changed. I mean, its name changed into Meta because of the upcoming trend in the technology, which is Meta. It is called as metaverse technologies, or you can call it as a virtual reality. So you can have that kind of deployments in Azure platform as well. Okay, and you might have seen that deal like Facebook has signed to use Microsoft Azure for its metaverse platform. So that is the next level of technologies, which is going to take time to evolve in the market. But you might be hearing it here and there. And Internet of Things, which we call it as IoT. So this is also a concept. Uh, it works mainly based on the sensors. You can control any of your devices. You can control any of your systems using this sensors. And this is also for the people who are from development background. Okay, yeah, this is what I was saying. Mixed reality, remote rendering accounts, spatial anchors accounts. So whatnot. We have got various services like identity. We have got Active Directory, security concepts. Okay, and for security itself, we have got around 23 services in Azure platform. All right. Even for DevOps, yes, there are few services which I'll be giving concepts on DevOps as well as part of our content. Migration, which is key nowadays for all the enterprises because they are migrating from on-premises to cloud data centers. Okay, don't worry that I'm going fast here, because it is just an overview as part of our first session, where you'll be getting slowly into these concepts. So this is just an overview on this portal. Monitoring is also key for each and every enterprise. We'll be discussing how to configure monitoring alerts and monitoring for your applications and servers. Management and governance. We'll be discussing about policies and how you can reduce the cost of your subscription and the server. Intune for device management. This is hybrid and multi-cloud, Azure Arc, Azure Sentinel, so whatnot. Now, there are hundreds of services here. If you consider any enterprise, whether it is a startup or small scale or medium scale or large scale, whatever it is, they can directly start their organization, or they can directly use Microsoft Azure services to deploy their applications, servers, storage, networking, whatever it is for their business needs, right? So, considering all these concepts, now coming back to our role discussions. In order to work on these support roles, depends on the organization. Let's say if you go to a service-based company, you might end up in working in almost all the infra services. You will be giving support on backup, virtual machines, monitoring, security, all together. You will be in a position to work. Of course, once you are done with our course, you'll be in a position to support all those services. But some organizations also will prefer multi-skilled persons to work on their projects, right? If you work only on backup, it will have only limited scope. But if you consider cloud platforms, you can work on backup, administration of other services like networks, monitoring, security, and things like that. So support role will give you more flexibility to work on all the services, and some organizations will prefer to work only on one specific service. Let's say virtual machines. So you'll be dedicated only to virtual machines, and you should be the one who will be supporting for that virtual machines, and you have to be an expert on that area to support only for virtual machines. But if you take up such kind of role, in a long run, it's going to affect your career, because you're totally focused on one single service, and whatever you learn is gone because you are totally dedicated and working on one specific service. So I will always recommend to work on multiple services within Azure, so that it will be good for you to learn, and also if you want to move further, that will be useful, right? Now, cloud admin or Azure admin role. So this role is mainly specific to the deployments that you do. Even when I consider, let me take out this one, all of these three roles, cloud administration or Azure admin or a consultant or a cloud engineer, whatever you call, these roles are specific to the deployments along with the support. It means I'll come to you and I'll ask, hey guys, I want this to be deployed for XYZ application. So I want recommendation from your side, because I don't know anything. I know some basics what needs to be there. You guys decide and give it to me. So now that is a requirement. So you are going to analyze what is best for the requirement, and you are going to do sometimes POCs. And if there is no POC, and if you know the concept already, you can directly go ahead and deploy. Let's say I want a server with uh, a 16 GB RAM and 1 terabyte SSD. In that case, There will be various metrics that you have to consider, which we'll be discussing going forward. Likewise, you will be getting a kind of deployments, new deployments or migrations from on-premises data center to Azure cloud platform. And you'll be working on storage, you'll be working on networking, you'll be working on monitoring, you'll be working on security, you'll be working on databases. So it means you'll be mainly focusing on all the concepts that I have shown here under AZ104, which is a concept of Microsoft Azure Administrator. So I would say these are limited. You might end up in working in some other services as well if you are interested. But it depends on organization to organization. There is no guarantee that you'll be working only on one specific service. Okay. So if you go to some product based company where you'll be working on only one single service, or you might end up working with all other services as well. We cannot say. And that's the reason I will always say, whenever you're applying for a job or whenever you're seeking for a job, look for the roles and responsibilities, and it should match at least 50% of your skill sets. So if you see the roles and responsibilities of any organization, they'll write some 20 to 30 points where no human will be able to have such skills. At least 50% should be there, as per my view. If you have 50% skill sets which is matching to the role, then you can apply. And if there is a demand for the role where you can learn additional things as per the role, and then you can apply and give interview. Okay. So solution architect or architect. So these are next level of administrator. Once you are familiar and once you are good with all the concepts and you know everything to manage Azure platform, especially with regards to administration side, then you can go for next level, which is solution architect and architect roles. So where you'll be giving solutions to the customers, or you call it as clients. I'm calling it as customer, whatever it is, client or customer, whatever you call. So there will be a simple statement where customers can come to you. Let's say I want to migrate my applications to Azure platform. Now, as a solution architect, you have to consider various criterias to get into that migration phase. So you have to understand where are those applications deployed and how many applications are there, and what is the complexity of the application, what is the data regulation of that specific application. Let's say there will be some applications where you can call it as PII data, PHI, and finance related applications. So you have to treat each and every application in a different way. Okay, so you have to consider that one as well, and that will be the role of solution architect. However, as I mentioned, you should be familiar with all the other responsibilities based on the rules that we have discussed, and then you can move on to this concept. So I'll be giving overview what solution architect will do, and we'll be covering the concepts of solution architects responsibilities as well, which will be clear for you, especially when we discuss about the migrations and site recovery concepts, high availability. Everywhere you'll be hearing the concepts in the advanced level. So whatever that I've shared the content, it looks like one liner or two liner, but as we dig deep into the concepts, it will be more. Okay. Now I'll pause for a minute and we'll hear if there are any questions from you. Any questions, please? Yes, we'll be discussing about networking as well. We'll start with the basics of networks and then we'll go to the next level, like where we'll be discussing about VPN connections and all those stuffs. Containers, no. I can give overview, but it will be a kind of total deviation from our concepts. So we should know the actual concepts, and then the next level is containers. I can give overview, uh, but it is not in our content. Okay, so right. So if there are no further questions, I think we can close for the day. I don't want to